evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paolo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Sam Corrales. Watch the game live and our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app for just 149 pesos a month. Available for download on Google Play or on the App Store.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Hampasan season is back as the PVL returns with the All-Filipino Conference to close out the 2023 season. Now, joining us to break down what to expect in this exciting new chapter of volleyball is PVL analyst Neil the Real Deal Flores. Neil, welcome back.
I missed that. Thank you for having me.
I always had to do it. I almost forgot to do it. But this is a bit of a stranger conference for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
New teams, a few new rules, and of course, a few familiar faces won't be seeing action this conference. The press conference has already been had. What were the biggest takeaways from you looking at this entire conference?
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting because number one, the PVL on tour is back. We'll be traveling to the nearby, not so nearby provinces because we felt the love from the Filipino fans all over the country. So that's a treat for everybody, lalo na mataas yung demand. And there will be a couple of changes also in the tournament format. This is the tournament format that we've always wanted. Sanay na tayo na sinisplit yung mga teams to different pools. But now, this conference, lahat magkikita-kita in the preliminary. So that's also one thing na ilo-look forward ng mga fans. And there are also some technical changes in-game na kailangan din abangan ng mga fans natin.
Yes, actually, our competition director, Sharon Malonzo, was here the other day and he was talking about na parang mas bibilis talaga yung pace ng volleyball games sa PVL this conference because of the new rules. Now, we're talking about the fans, you know, lalapit tayo sa kanila with the different locations, but they will also be missing a couple of faces. So let's start off with the Creamline Cool Smashers. Of course, without Gia de Guzman, she's off to Japan. What do you think will her impact be and what can you expect in Creamline as a whole?
Medyo malaking blow talaga yun for the Cool Smashers because Gia has been the standard for setting for the longest time. But they still have Kyle Negrito there. We'll talk about her later on. So I don't think changes will be made ng masyadong drastic for Coach Sherwin Meneses because sistema pa rin yun ng Creamline eh. The next woman will step up and for sure they will still be one of the teams to beat this conference.
You know, two other teams who are missing basically the faces of their franchises, or at least one of the bigger faces of their franchises. Itong F2 Logistics with Kim Kianandi out due to injury, and of course sa Signal, si Rachel Andakis, who surprisingly won't be part of this team. I say surprisingly because it feels like she's been part of every single Signal team for who knows how long. But without these two, what can we expect from both F2 and Signal?
Well, for F2 and Signal, they've acquired youngsters in the past season. I guess the 2-month, 3-month break should have given them time to adjust. The full potential wasn't realized in the previous conference, especially sa mga bata. But these are the pieces na sakto dahil nga the names that you mentioned, Rachel Andakis and KKD, will be out of the fold. So that's also something that needs to change for these teams kung paano sila mag-adapt. It's all about adapting to the new roster this conference.
And you know, speaking of new rosters, Neil, may dalawang teams na papasok, the Next-led Chameleons and the Galleries High Risers. So let's first talk about Next-led. What stood out for you when you saw the roster of this team?
For the Next-led Chameleons, most of their players just came from the Akari Chargers. They've had a couple of additions like the setter in Camille Cal. And for the high-rise galleries, I mean, ito na yung mga players na veterans na. They've been out of the pro scene for quite some time. I'm sure the fundamentals, the basics are still there. But these are technically still two new teams. So I think that we still have to be careful of our expectations because it's not going to be a success naman overnight for new teams.
Yeah, I remember when the Jur 4 Defenders and the Farm Fresh Foxies did start out, may mga birthing pains talaga in terms of their adjustment to the competition. But you take a look, we mentioned a while ago that the league will be going back to the provinces, bringing the volleyball action to all around the Philippines. How big was it, did you feel, of an influence was the fact that some PVL teams actually did go to the provinces in the off-season, and the reception was really warm, really amazing for all of our volleyball players?
Kung pwede lang natin dalhin lahat ng teams to these provinces, gagawin natin. But of course, there are limitations. You know, it's always a blockbuster hit every time we go to a province, may it be nearby lang here sa Metro Manila, like Batangas and Antipolo. But now we'll be going to CDO and Iloilo, and they've always loved volleyball there. So, sure ako, sold out din agad yung mga venues natin sa mga
100%.
provinces.
And you can see Neil there sa mga venues na yun. Like, I'm sure we're gonna have Neil go around the Philippines as well.
Yes, of course. I'm sure that's on his schedule already. Pero let's talk about the Sunday game, though, because that is the opening game day, and we've got the battle of the sister teams. So you have Chocomucho and Creamline, you've got Signal and PLDT, and then you've got another team as well. So, Neil, what are you most excited about in those three triple headers happening on Sunday?
Well, that is our marquee match, di ba?
Yeah.
Opening
Yes.
day. Ang tagal natin nawala eh. So
Yep.
I think it's only right that we pit Chocomucho and Creamline agad-agad ng day one. I heard that Araneta is already sold out.
Oh,
People are
wow.
having a difficult time in buying tickets. But in terms of game analytics, I am very excited to see Dina Wong match up against Kyle Negrito. That will be a change of play style because we've always seen her go up against her ate and Gia Morado de Guzman. But now, Kyle Negrito will be the first setter or the starting setter for Creamline. So let's see how they will fare. I've seen their training videos on social media, mas under the radar itong Creamline.
Yeah.
Because they also have two new setters in Mafe Galanza and Bonafe. So tingnan natin kung ano mangyayari.
Yes,
Yeah.
kaka-reveal lang nun. Actually, that got me super excited. And grabe, sold out na talaga. Like, they just released the tickets like a day ago, tapos sold out agad.
I think that's a bit expected. Masasold out talaga. But you take a look, it's been such a long break. Can you describe the anticipation and the wait before we start this next conference?
You know that it's back to regular programming pag nandyan yung PVL. So, you just have to watch out for the action.
Can't wait for that, Neil. We're not done with you yet. But, we have a few more things to do before that.
Yes, volleyball never stops here in the game because after the break, beach volleyball girls in the PVL join us in the latest edition of The Lineup. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're still watching The Game. The Heart of Volleyball returns this Sunday, October 15. Now, ahead of day one, we caught up with Sisi Rondina, Bernadette Pons, and Grethcel Soltones as they share their experiences as beach volleyball icons in the latest edition of The Lineup.
I am Bella Tunay, and with me are volleyball icons Sisi Rondina, Bernadette Pons, and Grethcel Soltones. Hi girls! Welcome to the game!
Hello!
Energy, energy! Unahin natin si Sisi. Sisi, ang naging comeback story mo is from beach volleyball to indoor, di ba? At ang ganda na naging pasok mo sa Choco Mucho. Pero medyo kinapos kayo last conference. But you also did a good job nung nag-compete kayo sa Vietnam. First podium finish and international finish agad yan. So, tell us more about that experience and sa tingin mo paano yan makakatulong para sa third conference of the PVL?
Going to BTV Cup talaga, wala akong ibang inisip kundi maglaro. Wala na akong pakialam kung ano yung mangyayari. Basta ilalabas ko yung baon ko from Philippines to Vietnam. Ganun yung naging mindset ko. And dun ko nakita na sobrang composed ng mga kasama ko, yung, lalo na si Maddie, sila Des. Like, sabi ko, ang ganda kasama. Kasi, alam mo yung gusto lang nila maglaro, gusto nilang manalo, yung eagerness andun din. And going to this conference, syempre hindi kami, magtatrabaho pa rin kami. Hindi kami magbibitaw agad kasi syempre bilog ang bola. And ipapakita namin kung ano yung sistema ni Coach Dante and kung ano yung mga experience na nakuha namin and nag-gain namin dun sa Vietnam.
Sabi mo nga, ang dami mong baon from Philippines to Vietnam. This time, para sa third conference, may baon ka naman from Vietnam to the Philippines. But for Pon, similarly, from beach volleyball, sabay kayo no, na bumalik sa indoor volleyball. And for you, ang mga nakasama mo naman, as in mga champions, multi-awarded players, of course, joining the Team 9 Gold Smashers. Kamusta naman yung naging experience mo and your debut with the Team 9 Gold Smashers?
Sobrang nakakatuwa silang kasama. Sobrang professional lahat. And sobrang competitive bawat isa sa team talaga. So, na-challenge talaga yung bawat isa na i-lift mo yung mga kasama mo paangat. Ayun, nakakatuwa kasi parang dati, ina-admire mo lang sila na nakakalaban mo sa UAAP. Oh,
Wow, puma-fangirl pa pala si Pons.
oo, si Ate Alay. Sobra. Nung last playing year niyo sa UAP. Yun, sobrang, kaya pala ganito. Doon, nakilala ko na sila kahit paano nung last conference, kahit sobrang iksi lang ng time. Parang, kaya pala ganito sila before, kaya pala successful yung team nila. So doon, okay, ganun. Sobrang nakakatuwa, sobrang nakaka-proud na maka-team sila and kasama mo silang lumaban every game.
Grabe, nakakatawa naman pakinggan. Very humble ang ating mga players. Imagine, these are volleyball icons but they're also fangirling over their teammates. Multi-awarded player ka na din both sa indoor and beach volleyball. Pero medyo limited minutes pa lang yung nakita namin last conference. This conference ba sa tingin mo mas ready ka na for more minutes?
Hopefully. Wow. Pero syempre,
Pa-frontline na daw siya.
hopefully. Syempre, ready naman ako lagi kung gagamitin ako and kailangan ako ng team. Basta lagi ko na ready yung sarili ko. Nung last conference kasi talaga sobrang struggle ako kasi before nga yung knee injury ko. Tapos yung reaction ng tuhod ko nung pagbalik ng indoor, hindi siya ganon kaganda and struggle talaga.
Yeah.
So after nung last conference, trabaho talaga ako kasi gusto ko makabalik ng 100% for this conference.
Hopefully well-adjusted na. Itong si Bernadette Pons, no? And makita na natin mga combination play, signature moves ni Pons yan. Pero speaking of mga signature moves, syempre si Grethcel. Yes? Ay, hello po! Ayan, si Grethcel Soltones, she won an award as a best open hitter nung open conference, di ba? First conference of this year. Pero medyo naging shaky naman yung conference nila last invitational conference. So ano yung mga learnings mo? Kasi syempre, last conference na to this year for PVL. How do you plan to finish strong? Especially you're one of the veterans sa team.
Parati ko na lang sinasabi sa sarili ko na pag di namin nakamit yung isang bagay, trabaho ulit. Ganon, paulit-ulit na lang yan. Kasi, syempre, hindi mo naman maabot yung isang bagay pag wala yung teammates mo. Tsaka, ina-adjust pa namin yung bawat isa since bago na din yung coach namin this time. And also, sa next conference, ang mindset ko lang talaga is paano pa mas kami as a team, mas mag-gel. Kasi ang tagal na din namin magkasama. So sana makamit namin yung goals namin as a team.
And you did mention you have a new head coach entering the third conference. No? Kamusta naman yung naging adjustment ninyo? I think si Coach Timmy had been part of the team na,
Yes,
but now he is stepping in as the head coach. So, kamusta yung naging reception ninyo sa kanya? And syempre, iba-ibang coaches throughout the year, di ba? So, kamusta yung naging adjustment ng team?
Pag every time na may bago kaming ginagawa, ini-explain niya agad. So, ayun.
So more on the approaches sa inyo. And speaking of nagkiklik din, kayong tatlo, you have something in common. Lahat kayo nag-beach volley. Kamusta naman yung inyong transition from beach volleyball? Paano siya nakakatulong? Kasi syempre, ang daming power hitters, lalo na mga posisyon yung open hitters. Madaming malalakas pumalo. Pero yung all-around players, kagaya ninyong tatlo, iilan lang tayo niyan. Hoy! Iilan lang kayo niyan, di ba? So, how do you think yung pagbi-beach volleyball ninyo nakatulong for you to stand out as open hitters, best open hitters in the country? Sige, ikaw muna, Gretch.
Sa akin, kasi di ba dalawa lang yun sa beach, di ba? So, kailangan talagang magpursige ka. Lahat ng bola sa'yo. So, parang pag sa indoor, wala kang ibang asahan. Basta kukunin at kukunin mo, di ba? Tsaka nakakabilis at nakakataas ng talon.
Sobrang advantage din talaga pag galing ka ng buhangin kasi sa beach, dalawa lang yung naglalaro eh. So, kumbaga, yung whole court sa inyo yan. So, kailangan pagalingan magbasa, yung mabilis yung footwork. So, yun, sobrang advantage siya pagdating sa indoor. Kasi, lumiliit na lang yung court eh, kasi 6 na kayo.
And I guess for Sisi, syempre, alam naman natin, mataas na yung talon nito, ganyan. More on the mindset na lang. Kasi syempre, dalawa lang kayo. Ang init, ang layo ng mga hahabulin. Paano siya nakatulong sa mindset mo in general as a player? Kasi girl, ikaw ang babaeng hindi napapagod kahit 5 sets araw-araw, di ba?
Talaga wala akong ibang iniisip kundi maglaro. And lagi kong sinasabi sa mga kasama ko na ubus tayo. Like, tapusin natin to ng maganda. Tapusin natin to ng may natutunan tayo. Manalo matalo, may matutunan tayo sa mga ginagawa natin. Yun naman yung parang isa sa mga goals ko na pinapakita ko na hindi basihan ang physical sa paglalaro ng gusto natin.
Wow, may mga ganun pang Miss Universe.
Mic drop.
Pero ayan, very hardworking, very inspiring at aabangan namin kayo sa PVL 3rd Conference this year. Good luck, girls, and thank you so much for joining us. Watch out more of your favorite athletes here on The Game.
That was a lineup with Mela Tunay, Grethcel Soltones, Bernadette Pons, and Sisi Rondina. Our PVL discussion continues after the break. We'll talk about who needs to step up in the upcoming All-Filipino Conference. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. Now, we mentioned at the top of the show the effect of losing some players in the upcoming All-Filipino Conference, but what about the other side of things? Who needs to step up to help their respective teams succeed and so much more? Now, still with us to give us a list of players expected to rise this conference is PVL analyst Neil Flores. Neil, we have seen a great crop of young talent come in this year in general. So we're going to focus first on some of the sophomores in the sense that second conference nila in this next one. Ea Laure, Vanny Gandler, and Jolina De La Cruz. You take a look at those three names. What can we expect now that they've gotten their feet wet, now they understand the professional competition and the environment they're going to compete in?
Well, coming into this conference, each of these players that you mentioned will be taking on a different role. If they were rookies in the past conference, now they are really expected to deliver, especially with the key losses of their respective teams. You know, itong si Ea Laure, Vanny Gandler, and Jelena De La Cruz, they were the top recruits in their batch. But contrary to popular belief, I think that Vanny Gander actually had the best performance among the three in the previous conference. She was the only rookie to end up in the podium.
Yeah.
And she did come off the bench most of the time, but she delivered every single time. For Jelena and Ea, there were a couple of inconsistencies, but they were number 30 and 39 respectively in the scoring category. So that is expected to improve coming into this conference.
And of course, we'll talk about another one who is expected to step up kasi wala na si Gia de Guzman with Creamline this conference, Kyle Negrito. Now, she has been in the league for quite some time already. So what can we expect from Kyle this conference?
This was also asked kay Coach Sherwin Meneses nung press con nung
Yeah.
PVL, but he wasn't worried at all. He was very confident kay Kyle. Kyle has had her fair share of international exposure.
Right.
She was also mentored by Gia de Guzman at some point. And again, as long as she follows the system, similar naman sila when it comes to low-fast setting. So it really boils down to the perspective of Kyle on how she will view kung paano niya bubunutin yung mga plays at the perfect time for their squad.
So,
I
parang
love what you said about, you know, Gia mentoring Kyle because Kyle will also be taking on a different role as she mentors one of their alternate setters, also si Bea Bonafe, diba? So what can you tell us quickly about Bea Bonafe? Have you seen her game?
Yeah, during her time with the UP, she has that potential. Tapos masusuportahan pa siya ni Mafia Galanza, the sister of Gemma Galanza, who has also been out of the PVL scene for a long time. So she will be taking on that leadership role. But I'm very confident that she will deliver because when you take a look at her skill set, she's a hard server, she can block well, she can also defend well, and she has that connection with her teammates already. So again, no major adjustments system-wise pagdating sa Creamline.
Alam ko, system-wise, no major adjustments, but adjustments will be made because of the personnel not there and personnel there. Is that position in particular, the setting position for Creamline, probably the most under-pressure position now in the league so far, just considering who left and, of course, what the expectation is from Creamline?
Yes, of course, because when you take a look at the backup setters, kailangan pa nila mag-ease in dun sa sistema ni Coach Sherwin compared to their system before. Now you have Gia de Guzman as a starting setter, tapos meron ka na agad backup Kyle Negrito. Now they still need to go through the training para maging solid din yung backup setters nila.
Now, just to circle back on the names you mentioned a while ago, itong si Ea and then si Jelena, both of them were a bit inconsistent as you did mention. What do you think would it take for them to find that consistency dito sa bagong format natin and of course with more teams present?
Simple, it's really their passing. They have been the targets of the hard serves of the servers dito sa PVL. But now, na alam na nila kung gaano kabigat yung services na kailangan nilang i-receive. I think na makaka-adjust na sila.
All right, Neil, maraming salamat. Really appreciate all your insights. We can't wait to see you all around the Philippines covering volleyball sa PVL.
Neil on
you.
tour with the PVL. And that's a wrap for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sam Corrales.
Catch us weeknights here on One News and on the Pilipinas Live app, where you can watch us live and our past episodes on demand for just 149 pesos a month, available for download on Google Play or the App Store. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.